Hello, everyone. LJ Young. Kind of a hot day today, and I had to turn my AC off so you guys can actually hear me because it'd be blowing too loud. So if I have to wipe my face every now and then to. All right, today's video is debt free and upset. And I know you're like, what you mean, debt free and you ain't got no bills? No. Sometimes I'm gonna let you a little bit on the inside. I've been, yes, the freedom of debt free is it's amazing. All right. It's amazing. I'm 48. I became debt free around 42, somewhere in there. And sometimes I'll think back, and this is just me. I'm not saying it'll happen to you, okay? It's just me. I'll get upset at myself because I get mad at myself because how come I didn't see this earlier in life? I mean, it's so obvious. It's really it bothers me. It bothers me that I just didn't see it. Once now that I'm out, I think about the things like this. When you sign in for a job, right? And then they say, hey, we got a great retirement package. And then you say, hey, if you stay this long, and then at age 65, you can retire. And, deep down inside, I would feel this little twinge inside of me. I'd be like, damn, 65? Then I'll be able to retire with this money. I'm mad at myself because I didn't stop. I didn't stop at that moment and go, nah, I want to do it before that. I don't want to wait till 65. I don't want to wait. And I had a choice not to wait. But I didn't know I didn't know I had a choice not to wait. I was just like, oh yeah, get a great company, stay there till you retire. They got great benefits, blah 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 blah. And now that I'm out, I'm upset at myself of how much of the time in my life I just sold. I sold for money. I sold for a car. I sold for cable TV. I sold for boats. I sold for houses. I sold for shoes. I sold for all that money I spent. That wasn't free. I had to work hourly to get that, and I just goofed it off. It's upsetting because I could have retired at 30, easy, easy. That wouldn't even be hard. That would not even be hard. You know how? Stay debt free. With two simple things. Stay debt free. Keep my finances in the black. That's it. That's done. Done. I always say this. I see everything like if you open the back of a ticking watch and they got all the gears all running smooth. That's how our financial system works. It's so easy to see. It's so easy to see. It runs smooth. Whoever invented this system is a brilliant. I don't know if it's a family, a person, I don't know, but it's brilliant. Okay? I didn't see it at all. I never once did I stop to say, you know what? If I keep financing stuff, I'm never going to get ahead because I'm always paying more for stuff than what it's worth. Never once did I stop and think that. I'm a computer engineer, been the last engineer for the last 20 years, cloud engineer, all that, you know, networking and TCP/IP and the DMZ and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Oh yeah, I knew all that, but I couldn't keep my finances in the black. Makes no sense to me. Make six figures. I had the knowledge enough to make six figures, but I didn't have the knowledge enough to keep my finances in the black. I have no idea why I didn't see that. So sometimes when I'm driving, I'll just think about it. I'll think about all those little twinges in my stomach that I ignored when I finance things, like when I would go finance a car and stay there for 5 6 hours, and then when I sign this paperwork that I have no idea what's in there. I'm just signing because I want this car, this thing, this depreciating object with interest so bad. I was just signing. I had no idea what I was signing. Was the payment up? I was just worried, is the payment where I want it? And it was never, the payment was never what I was. When I walked in and said, hey, I want this, I only can afford this amount of money per month, I never walked out paying that amount of money. It was always $100 more or $150 more. And I would rationalize it somehow. I don't know whatever. I just wanted that thing, right? Never once did I stop to say, you know what? I'm not actually getting this car on sale. Why? Because I'm financing it for 72 months. So the sale price of the car didn't even matter. That was just to draw me in. The sale price only matters to people walking in paying cash. Because you know, when I finance things, they always say, hey, you want to throw in the undercoating? You want to throw in this and throw in that? You be like, heck yeah, just throw it in there. Yeah, I want it all. I want it all, right? You walk in there with cash and they say the same thing. You say, yeah, as long as it can fit in the cash I gave you, as long as it fit within that price. Yeah, sure, throw it in there. But if it goes over, no, I don't want it. I want the car, period. You name it, I financed everything. And when I say finance, I'm talking about credit cards, paying more. Every time I slid that car, I was paying more for whatever thing I was buying than what it was worth, you know? And then the biggest thing too, right? What I didn't realize when I was in debt, I didn't see this. I had so much stuff going everywhere, you know, payments here, that, coming out my checking, coming out my my bank account, coming off my credit card. I couldn't keep up, and plus work 40 plus hours a week. I couldn't keep up with all that stuff. I was getting late fees up that easy. And then when that would happen, I was like, oh, whatever, it's only $50. Oh, whatever, it's only $20. Like it was on, and I was in the negative the whole time. Just digging myself deeper and deeper. Never once saying, hey, wait a minute. Something's wrong, Linnell. Maybe you should check something. I kid you not. You hear the people retiring at 30, you think they did something amazing, right? You think they did something, oh my God, they must be super smart to do that. No, they're not. I'm not saying they're not smart. Let me say, it doesn't take a lot. All I had to do was just stay out of debt. And you know what else is crazy? Let me tell you what else is crazy that I could not hear. When I was in debt, people in, you know, these so-called smart finance people, if you're in debt, you think they're the smartest people in the world. Oh, they must know about money. Look, they're talking about percentages and they're watching the lines and the dips and this and that. You think, wow, they must be just super smart, right? One thing I've learned, money has two languages. Money is spoken in two languages, debt and debt-free. If you only been in debt, you only know about debt. If you've never been debt-free, you probably don't even realize debt-free even exists, let alone try to do it. It didn't even matter. Sorry, you guys, it's kind of hot in here. And anyway, now when I hear finance people talk, I hear them if they're talking in debt or they're talking in debt-free. And most of them, I kid you not, they're mostly talking in debt. In debt. I'll give you a prime example, okay? And then you guys can and only go by the math. Do not put your feelings in your money. That was the biggest mistake I made. I'm telling you ahead of time, and I'll give you an example, okay? If you're thinking about investing, okay? Say like you have $5,000 in your bank account that you want to invest, all right? And you got $100,000 in student loans, okay? You put negative 100,000 plus 5,000 is negative 95,000. That is your net worth, negative 95,000. So when you go see some kind of smart finance person, right? You go see, hey, I'm looking to invest. And they say, hey, take that 5,000 and you put it in this stock and it'll split and it'll grow. And then you stop them, you go, hey, if I'm negative 95,000, where is this money coming from that I'm putting into the stock market? That's all you got to say. And you only go by math. Only go by math, okay? I know you physically can walk into the bank and get it, but your whole net worth would be negative 95,000. That means you have no money in the negative. So this fancy finance person, they're obviously not looking out for your best interest, because you know what? You're negative 95,000. If somebody came to me and said, hey, I'm looking to invest, I would say, how much debt you in? I would add up all their debt, and then I would say, hey, you're in the negative. You have no money to invest. Invest in yourself first. You invest in yourself first, you'll win the game. You'll win the game. Think about it. And this is the whole new way I look at the whole, remember the ticking clock? All the gears? Follow me here. It might not make sense. If you're in debt, it might not make sense. But think logically and mathematically. Take your feelings out of it, what I'm about to say. You ready? If over, let's say like this, 80% of Americans are in debt. All right, we're in the trillions. It's about 70, I'm gonna say between 70 and 80% of Americans are in debt. What percentage, now that means they're in the negative. That means they have, their net worth is under zero. How many of those people, what percentage of those people are investing in the stock market? So if they're in the negative, they have to borrow that money to invest into the stock market. So they're basically taking the bank's money. They're borrowing. This is zero risk for the bank. And again, I'm going to tell you, I don't talk about the banks. They're in the business of making money. Why be mad at them? Why be mad at them? Don't be mad at them. Learn from them. If they're in the negative, that means you have to physically borrow money to invest in the stock market. Where's that money coming from? The bank. The bank is risk-free lending. It's brilliant. They're indirectly going through the person, because the person doesn't realize they're in the negative. They have to. There is no other choice. You have to borrow the money to invest. There is no other choice, right? So it has to come from the bank. So they borrow money from the bank indirectly, directly, however, it doesn't matter. If you're in the negative, it doesn't matter, indirectly or directly. They're borrowing from the bank at a percentage rate. That money goes through them, goes into the stock market, however the person invests. This person takes all the risk, right? The bank is guaranteed their money. All the percentages, however they borrow, they charging a percentage for all that money this person borrowed, right? And then when it's time to make payments, they have the person, if their investment makes money, they got to take some of that money and bring it back, filter back through them, back to the bank. They're basically investing in the stock market for the bank, indirectly. The bank has zero risk, or very low. And when I say very low, this person could go bankrupt and lose all their money or whatever. It doesn't matter. But by that time, the bank has probably sucked them dry. One more thing so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I can see now. I remember being in debt, and I used to always hear about the debt to income ratio. Okay. Oh my God, the bank is not going to lend me any money. I got to make sure it's this percentage. And it sounds so fancy and complicated. You're like, oh my God, it's going to blow my mind. It's not even that complicated. You know what the debt to income ratio really is for? To see how much money you have left that can suck out of you before you file bankruptcy. That's it. That's it. It's a measurement for the bank to see how much money you have left they can suck out of you before you file bankruptcy. That's clear as day for me to see right now, because I'm debt free and I don't be involved in all that stuff. I don't be involved in now. There's a business side of credit and a consumer side of credit. I'm on the business side of credit now. So it's different. It's totally different. Those are not the same, okay? It's a measurement to see how much money they can suck out of you. If you're too close, they're like, we can't chance that because this person's about to file bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if they know it or not. We know it. The bank is like, we created the credit system. It's our system. That's what it's for. So for now, for example, when my business starts making real money, I'm going to have, a special finance person or accountant person to handle my business finances, right? But you know what I'm going to ask when I ask for that finance person? I'm going to ask to see their credit report. Not their credit score, their credit report. Because if they're giving me finance advice, they better be having their own finances in order before they give me advice about my business. Because if somebody asks me for my credit report, I go, here you go, see? They'll see I have no debt. The person that's giving me financial advice, they better not have no debt either. If they have debt, I'm not going to hire them. What advice would they give me if they don't even know about their own personal finances? I wouldn't do that. Your finances must remain in the black. If they remain in the black, you will be so well off.